All right, and we are live. Welcome everyone to the Big Ass Blueprint 2025. We are thrilled to have you here with us today for what promises to be an unforgettable event. We're diving into some powerful strategies and insights and real-world tactics that will help you design and execute a standout year in your business and your personal life. With me today is my good friend, co-host, and colleague Tom Mancuso, and my good buddy Dom, the hypnotist. So first, I want to introduce Dom. He's helped countless people, countless professionals, including myself, tap into their inner potential and reshape their mindset to overcome challenges and thrive. Today is here to show and share how we can all harness the power of our words and self-belief to achieve big goals. So without further ado, welcome, Dom.
All right. Thank you, Tommy. I'm extremely excited and honored to be here today. So again, thank you for having me. And the reason I'm so excited to be here is because the information I'm going to share with you, I've seen just transform so many people's lives in a financial sense, going from, people that are making 5 figures to doing multiple 6 figures, people that are doing 6 figures to 7 figures, 7 figures to 8 figures. And the other reason I'm excited to be here is because the information I'm going to share with you guys today and with your audience, most people are not going to believe what I'm going to tell them. And after I share this with you today, you will understand why. So if we take time back a little bit here, about 3 years ago in the NFL season of 2021, I was working with the client during preseason. Now, he was like a 3rd or 4th stringer, so he wasn't getting a lot of playing time. But then halfway through the season, he finally got his first opportunity to start. Now, when we got together for our weekly session, he's like, Dom, I'm a little nervous about my first start. So if there's any other tricks you have up your sleeve, now's the time to use it, right? Well, as most people know, every week in the NFL, you play a new team and you want to do your best to memorize the playbook so that way you can predict what they're going to do. So what we decided to do is we took the plays of the other team and I put them in a sleep hypnosis and I had them listen to it throughout the night. Now, up until this point, I've been doing hypnosis for about 2 years. And what's funny is I never even believed into the whole idea of sleep hypnosis because I'm thinking like you're sleeping, right? How can this actually help you if you're unconscious? But we knew it wasn't going to hurt him. So we decided to give it a shot. So I had him listen to it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and he went out and he played on Sunday. Well, he messaged me after the game and he said, Dom, I have never been more in tune with what the other team was going to do. He said, it's like I knew what they were going to do before they did it. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe there is something to this whole sleep hypnosis thing, right? So maybe about a month went by and that thought was still in my head, like, wow, this sleep hypnosis stuff is really powerful. So let me try it myself. So I ended up finding the sleep hypnosis from another hypnotist that was geared towards creating financial abundance. So, I still wasn't really sold on it, but I figured, you know what, I'm going to be sleeping anyway. It's not like I got to take time out of my life. So let me just give it a shot. So I started listening to the sleep hypnosis on a Tuesday. And by Sunday, I had my most client signups ever at the time by about 50%. Now, wouldn't it be nice to make 50% more money in the next 4 days? So the results I got were great. However, there was a huge challenge. I didn't have a team like I do now to support me. So 50% more clients is great, but now I had 50% more work and I couldn't sustain that, right? So the sleep hypnosis was so powerful, I actually had to stop listening to it. So maybe like a month, 2 months went by or whatever. And I had this epiphany. I'm like, you know what? I'm a hypnotist. I know how to hypnotize people. I just got to figure out the technology to make this 8-hour recording and let me just create my own. But this time I said, okay, I'm going to create my own sleep hypnosis, but I'm going to be very, very specific and I'm going to make it around making more money without all the extra work, right? Because that's the goal, is to make more money without actually working more hours, right? So I made this hypnosis recording and I started to give it to all my clients. So all our clients are business owners, salespeople, entrepreneurs, right? So within a few days, I was getting a ton of great feedback, right? Deals are closing, pipelines are filling up, appointments are getting booked on people's calendars. But then I had other feedback and people were saying that the recording sounded distorted and that they couldn't understand it. Now, my initial thought was, okay, maybe I messed something up. This is my first time to do it with the technology and maybe there was something I missed or whatever. So I just kind of thought nothing of it and I left it at that. Well, a couple months went by and a client messaged me one day and she says, Dom, I can't understand the recording. She said she could hear it perfectly fine for the first couple of days, but now it sounded distorted. So I said, I've heard this before. So screen record what you're hearing. I'll take a look. So she screen records it and she sends it to me and I play it and I can hear it perfectly fine. Right. Well, then about an hour went by and she messaged me back and she said, Dom, I think I'm going crazy. I said, what's going on? And she said, well, I shared your recording with my partner. We're in the same exact room, listening to the same exact thing. And my partner can hear it perfectly fine, but I can't understand a word. She said, it sounds like it's in a different language. So I'm thinking to myself, like, this is all new to me. So I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Right. So I said, okay, let's talk about it in our session next week. So a week goes by, we jump on Zoom and I got to see this for myself, right? I'm not just going to take somebody's word for it. I want to see proof, right? So I share my Zoom and I share the recording and sure enough, I could hear it as clear as day and she couldn't understand a word. She could read the captions of what it was saying on the YouTube video, but it wasn't processing auditorily. So again, I'm in disbelief. I'm like, how is this even possible? Right? Like what the hell's going on? So I didn't know what to do. So I just went with my instincts and I figured, okay, if her brain is not letting her process it auditorily, then she must have some like resistance around what is being said in this recording. And by the way, I'll share with your audience what the recording says. So essentially for 8 hours on repeat, this is the affirmation that's playing over and over and over. So it's this. Large sums of passive money come to me easily and quickly from multiple sources on a consistent basis, and it's in the best good of all. I can keep, save, invest the money, give the money away. Whatever I decide to do, I can do it happily. Now, this is actually Bob Proctor, actually, he kind of invented this this affirmation, but I tweaked it again to make it kind of my own to where I wasn't making all this money, but then having, all this extra work. So I added it and changed a few things. So that's what it says for 8 hours straight. So I said, okay, her brain's not letting her process this information auditorily. So let's figure out what's going on. So I put her in hypnosis and we started asking her subconscious mind some questions. And this is what we discovered. So she had all these fears and limiting beliefs around making money, right? Like, I have to work hard in order to deserve money. I can't make money quickly and it has to take a long time. She was also very fearful of the judgment that she would get from her friends and her family if she started having a lot more success than them. She believed like she didn't deserve it and not good enough. And she felt guilty, all these things, right? There's like 12 different limiting beliefs and these fears. So anyways, as I put her in hypnosis, we start going through and figuring out where did these beliefs start, right? Was this some childhood thing? Was this some genetic belief that was passed down from your parents, your grandparents? And one by one, we went through and we cleared the beliefs. And then fast forward 45 minutes later, and she could hear it perfectly fine again. Now, since then, this phenomena has literally happened to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people where they'll start listening to the recording, they can hear it perfectly fine. And then within a couple of days, it starts distorting. Now, something that's also interesting is this doesn't just happen to people who struggle with money or who are broke. Like I have clients who are worth millions and millions of dollars. They'll start listening to the recording and a very similar thing happens. And what's also funny is every single person this happens to doesn't think it'll happen to them, right? Now, to go a little bit further into this, about maybe a month after this phenomena happened, I did a training where I had clients, I taught them how to create their own affirmations, essentially their own sleep hypnosis on this app. So you create your own affirmation, you put it on an app and you loop it throughout the night and it'll just play over and over till you turn it off or till your phone dies. And a very interesting thing happened. Within a few days of people, now these are people, I didn't tell them what to say. They created it. I just say, hey, this is how you structure it. Come up with your own words. So it was their own words, their own voice. And within a few days, people were having the same experience where they were listening to it, but it wasn't processing auditorily. And then once we went in and we removed those beliefs, then all of a sudden they could hear it clearly. Now, the reason I share this with your audience is because many people are trying very, very hard to create success in their lives, right? And this isn't just about money. It's every area, right? It's relationships, it's our health, it's everything. And the challenge is, if you have all these beliefs that are holding you back, it doesn't matter how hard you work, you will not break through. As a matter of fact, you will essentially blind yourself, right? The opportunities, everything can be right in front of you, but you won't see it. Or you might be able to hear an opportunity, but it will distort on you. Now, I want to run them through a quick little exercise. Do we have like 5 or 6 minutes left?
Yeah, we got 5.
Okay, perfect. We're going to do this really quick, guys. So I'm going to run you through just a handful of the major beliefs that people have. And you guys can type in the chat whether you have it or not, just to give you an idea of how this process works. Okay. So everybody, we're going to do this really, really quickly. So just go ahead and take a deep breath in and close your eyes and breathe out as you close your eyes. Now, I want you to pay attention to how you feel when I ask you this question. I want you to say to yourself, subconscious mind is my name, and then state your name. Okay. Subconscious mind is my name, Tommy. Subconscious mind is my name, Tom. Subconscious mind is my name, Dom. Tom, Dom, and Tommy. All right. And I want you to feel and notice that resounding yes, right? So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here, and I want you to pay attention to how you feel when I ask them. Is it 100% yes, I do have this belief? Is it 100% no, or is it unsure? Okay. So I want you to say this to yourself in your head. Subconscious mind, do I believe I have to work hard in order to deserve money? So subconscious mind, say this in your head or out loud. Do I believe I have to work hard in order to deserve money? And do me a favor, guys. I don't know how this is. Is the comment? Oh yeah, the comments are open. Type your answer in the comments. Yes, I have that belief. Now, I'm not saying you have to work hard to be successful. This is different. This is, do I have to work hard in order to deserve it? Because often what will happen is, if you believe you have to work hard in order to deserve money, it will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when you can make easy money or things can happen for you effortlessly, you will block them because you feel like it has to be hard or it has to be a struggle. Hopefully this makes sense. Now, the next question is, subconscious mind, do I believe that I can't have money quickly or it has to take a long time? Subconscious mind. So a lot of yeses on that one. Do I feel stress? Okay, good. Do I believe that I can't make money quickly or it has to take a long time? So type your answers in the chat. Okay. Yes. Perfect. Now ask your subconscious mind, can I manage multiple sources of income? Because one of the things in the affirmation is multiple sources. Subconscious mind, can I manage multiple sources of income? Now, I know at a conscious level, everybody say, well, yes, of course. But at a subconscious level, if your subconscious mind does not believe it, it will self-sabotage and hold you back. No. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. So this is a process where you start to develop a relationship with your subconscious mind, and you begin to tap in to figure out, hey, what beliefs do I have or what beliefs do I not have? Okay. Now, if anybody wants to go deeper, I think Tommy's going to, I know we kind of went through pretty quick today, or you want to get access to like the recording that I just talked about. Yeah, just click whatever link is there. You can book a call with my team, and they'll kind of run you through the process to go a little bit deeper to see what are some of the beliefs you have and how we can help you get to the next level. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. Was there any other questions you had, Tommy, or anything you wanted to chat about?
No, I mean, if anybody has any questions, if you want to throw them in the chat real quick.
Yeah, if you guys have questions, I'll be happy to answer them here for you. Now, again, the reason I share this is, as a business owner, as a salesperson, for the first, from 15 to basically 30, I went through like the roller coaster of business, and I was a hard worker, man. That's why I don't have any hair, because I would work, 16-hour days, 6-7 days a week. And I did that for over a decade. And it's like, no matter how hard I worked, no matter, I just couldn't get ahead. And then as soon as I started removing all these beliefs, now it's like, don't tell my team this, but I don't really work that much. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still able to create success. So as you remove these beliefs, you're able to really go to the next level without as much effort. You still have to work, obviously. You still put in effort, but it becomes it's like cutting that parachute that you're holding on to that's creating that drag in your life. What is the name of the app to create affirmations? It's the Parrot app. I don't know what it is if you have an Android, but on the iPhone, it's the Parrot app. It's a little pink parrot. What is the sequence of affirmations do you recommend to record? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Can you explain a little bit deeper, please? And do you recommend this? Yes, absolutely. The thing is, and this will be another time, most people create affirmations incorrectly, and most people are affirming things that their subconscious mind is not accepting. So, and as a matter of fact, you could be doing more harm than good if you don't do it properly. So it's like when people say, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. And it's like, that kind of shit is most likely causing you more harm than good. So there's a proper way to do it. But yes, I highly recommend doing affirmations. Yes, the Parrot app. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dom. I appreciate you for taking time out of your day to come on and do this. So,
all right. Thanks for having me, Tommy. We'll see you later. Nice to meet you, Tom.
Okay. All right. I've got a quick little video from one of our sponsors. This is from Highway and Dan. So we're going to play that real quick, and then we'll be right back with our next guest, Chris Vinson.
Hey, this is Dan Habib from Highway. It's an honor to be a sponsor of the Big Ass Blueprint 2025 event hosted by Amerifund. Many of you are on Highway products like MBS Highway list reports or our new home report tool, but just in case you aren't familiar with it, MBS Highway helps you every single day to be an expert on the market and to increase your conversion through building trust with knowledge with your customers and your referral sources. We break down the market every day with a video. We monitor the mortgage-backed security market and send you text messages and alerts to help you beat out reprices and get your customers the lowest rate. And we have data and tools for every market to help you close more transactions and be a better resource to your realtor partners. List Reports helps you to find agents that you want to work with based on their production, who they're sending business to. And we don't just give you the data. We send you alerts as to the best times to engage based on actions they're taking, and even give you the content to engage with to show the value you can add and why they should be working with you. We also have an automated marketing platform that really closes the loop. Anytime your realtor has a new listing within 10 minutes, they get 25 pieces of marketing content co-branded with you without you having to lift a finger. Really will keep them happy and continuously add value automatically. And lastly, our new home report tool is something that is very important right now to make sure you maximize the potential opportunity ahead as rates normalize and cycle back lower, which we think they will. Every month, you can send your customers a home report showing them the most important, probably, asset in their life, how they're doing on that investment, what the future looks like, how much equity they have, what they can do with that equity, tease move up buyer opportunities, and give them tools to help them get engaged, like how they can save potentially on interest on their mortgage and much more. Make sure you are monitoring and staying on top of that past database so you can maximize the potential opportunity ahead. If you guys want to find out more about the Highway products, just email us, sales@highway.ai.
And we're back.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to take a minute and introduce our next speaker, Chris Vinson. He's the CEO of Windsor Mortgage. He's an incredible leader in our industry. So please welcome Chris. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you. I got this weird thing on my computer. I don't know what that thing is. I'm trying to figure out what it is, but it's a shadow. Hope it doesn't bother you. You guys got me? Hear me?
All good.
Yep.
Yes. I don't know what that thing is doing down there. Anyways, thanks for having me. Today, I want to talk about the playbook for 2025. You know, MBA came out and talked about production and mortgage production for next year and predicted a 28% uptick in mortgage production. Are you ready? Do you have your business in line? Do you have everything set in place? Because today I want to talk to you about what I'm seeing a lot of originators doing and how to run the perfect playbook. By the way, if you want my playbook, just go ahead and shoot me a message either on Facebook, Instagram, or many of you probably have my email or cell phone number. I don't care. I'm a talk phone person. So either way, whatever you need to do, I want to make sure you get my playbook for 2025. But first, before I go to that, I want to tell you a story. You know, the other day, I'd say a few months ago, I came home from the lake. And I was coming home from the lake. We were driving through the neighborhood, and about a few blocks away, I looked to the right, and here sits two sisters, and it looked like their little brother. I actually don't know this family, but they had the world's famous lemonade stand. And I look at Shalise and I realize both of us don't have any money. So what do? You smile and you wave because you don't have any money to stop for the lemonade. And so we immediately drive up to our house, get everything put away. We're kind of getting organized. My son had stopped by. We're visiting. And then it happened. My doorbell rang. And I look through the glass door and I see these two young ladies. One's maybe 10 years old. The older one maybe being 13 years old. And I go answer the door and I knew what they were going to ask. And they asked this powerful question. Would you come visit us at the lemonade stand? I said, sure. I shut the door. I said, who's got money? Surely we've got some cash around here. My son had 20 bucks. I grabbed the 20 from my son, which is not very normal, right? A 23-year-old kid with cash. Normally he's coming to me, Dad, can I have some cash? Nah, he's actually pretty good. But he had 20 bucks. I says, give me the 20. I go down, I get the 20. I walk down the street. I didn't know these kids. These kids have walked up to my house. They did it all on their own. And I get to the lemonade stand and they said, would you like a glass of lemonade? And I says, I will. I says, oh my gosh, these pictures. Who drew these pictures? And the older daughter says, I did. And the little boy, maybe 4 or 5 years old, says, I painted these rocks. And these two are my favorite. And I said, I'll take a glass of lemonade. Those two rocks and these two pictures. So I walked away with these two pictures, my two painted rocks and a little glass of lemonade, and only to get about halfway home and to realize I'm pretty dumb. You see, what these girls did is something that we don't do every single day. And I thought, I had to have two young girls and a little boy teach me a lesson. And that lesson is that the business wasn't going their way. They weren't selling the lemonade. She didn't get her picture sold. No one was buying the painted rocks. So they decided to take it upon themselves. How scary would it be to walk up to a house, that not know them, to actually ring the doorbell and ask if I would come visit them at their lemonade stand? You see, that lesson I felt like taught me that day, and I giggled all the way home, only to be able to give that story to you. You know, the NBA comes up with this famous number that we're going to have 28% mortgage, but what are you going to do about it? Are you organized? Are you ready? Do you have your systems in place? Or are you just going to wing it? You know what's frustrating for me is watching LOs get out of this business because they thought they could wing it. You know, I'm sorry, the market has changed. And have you ever went whale hunting before? Like, it's boring. I feel like my wife can see him way faster than I can. And you wait 2 hours only to see this thing fly up in the air and go right immediately underneath water. But yet you can see dolphins everywhere. And in 2020 and through COVID, we seen dolphins and we were doing dolphin business everywhere. And then the business changed and now it's whale hunting and we only see them for a second. And if we're not paying attention, we'll miss it. So today I want to give you 3 tactics to really be thinking about in 2025. And I don't want to just give it to you and then have nothing. I will help you get to the next level. Look, everything that I'm going to tell you today is not hopeful. My LOs, I have a few LOs in South Dakota. It's my focus. I've had it. Some of these LOs have been with me since 2006. They're family. They average 8.4 loans apiece. I've invited you anytime you want to come check it out, look underneath the hood and see what it's like. Please come to one of my playbooks. But what I want to teach you is what they're doing as well. Number one is your database. So let's think about it. You probably heard me. If you've done any of my stuff, you've always heard me talk about the database. I think there's 3 ways to call the database, but let me tell you the one. Number one, if I'm going to call Tom, hey, Tom, can you unmute yourself for a sec? Is that good?
Yes, sir.
Let's just do a live example. Tom, how many years ago did you buy your house?
8 years ago.
What'd you pay?
$405,000
What's it worth?
and 790s.
Okay. So look, this call to Tom is really easy. I've already looked it up. You could use Barry's software, which he just came on MBS Highway. You could use your own. You could use Zillow. But I call Tom and I'm like, Tom, hey, this is Chris over at Amerifund. How are you?
Good. How are you, Chris?
Good. Congratulations.
On what?
Well, you paid $400 for your house. Your house is almost worth $800,000 today. I just want to say, what a buy. Congratulations on all of that equity. But I just only have one question for you.
Oh, what's that?
What are you going to do with it? Do you see what happens when we call our database like that? We gave them honor. We congratulated them, and then we made them think. What? My house is worth that? I might buy. I might buy something else. I might sell this and go to a different house. I might use some of that equity to be able to clean up some things. Tom, look, I just wanted to make sure that I reached back out with you. I've had a lot of clients use some of their equity to clean up some other debt, but I've had plenty of other clients be able to look or buy in maybe a bigger house, a smaller house, whatever your future dreams are, but I needed to reach back out to you. You see, the thing is, most loan officers won't call their database because they don't know what to say. I'm giving you one reason. The second reason I would say, Tom, I just wanted to check in. I know it's been a while, but I just want to make sure all of my database is okay. You know, one of my biggest frustrations, and I just had one the other day, is when one of my clients called me and it was too late to help them. How's the finances and how's everything going so far? Many different questions come about that. But you know the one that'll surprise you? You know, Tom, we're in really good shape. But my neighbor needs help. Like, it's frustrating when a client calls and you can't help them because it's too late. Like, reaching out to your database should be our job. If you want to be good in 2025, I want you to think of this, okay? I want you to think objection. Now, objection is really simply a question that your borrowers had that became infected. Maybe Uncle Bob got involved with his great advice. He's lived in his house for 20 years and he knows everything about the market. Maybe it was a coworker. Maybe it was another realtor. Like, look, if you want to win in 2025, it's extreme follow-up. As soon as you are done with your first appointment, 30 minutes after, you have to reach back out. It's a surprised element that will change the experience. If I said, Tom, hey, this is Chris at Amerifund, just wanted to reach right back to you. You see, I find that many of my clients have questions after we first meet, and I just want to make sure I answered all of yours. That's a great question that it doesn't cost anything. It's just something we add to the calendar. And then extreme follow-up after they close. The day after, the week after, the 30-day first call. This says what? I care. By the way, most referrals ever in extreme follow-up after. You want to blow that up? This is a great way to do it. Now, the second thing under database is working our realtors. If I work my database, I will get more referrals for my realtors. Now, look, I think the perfect concoction is 40. 40 realtors, 40 great realtors. but I'm going to give you a couple scripts that's going to help you with your realtors. Number one, what if you called them and said, hey, Tom, I'm playing with you again. Tom, you ready?
Yep.
You're a realtor, okay? Hey, Tom, this is Chris. Just wanted to reach back out. I know we haven't talked a bunch, but I've been having a great success of helping realtors close more loans, close more houses. Would you be interested?
Sure.
What do you got right now that's lost interest? Maybe someone that's been thinking about buying that haven't bought in the last 60 days.
I got a guy and a gal, newly married couple, looking, just haven't really pulled the trigger.
Like, I would love the opportunity to be able to get introduced to them, to see if I could get them re-energized and put back in the market so you could actually close them a loan. Now, that's one way. The second way is calling them up and saying, hey, if you ever get a hard deal, even if I don't get the loan, I want to help. So I call Tom. Tom calls me back. He goes, yeah, Chris, I got a hard deal. I can't figure it out. I'm a week from closing. It's written ready to blow up. Tell me the deal. Would you be willing to introduce me to the borrower? I'll help him. I'm not trying to get the loan. I'll just help him. What's that realtor thinking when you're willing to help out on a hard deal and get nothing? Now, chances are you're probably going to get it. And then the next thing is I call Tom, the selling realtor. I'm like, hey, Tom, this is Chris. I'm actually work for another lender. I have nothing to do with this deal, but I'm stepping in to be able to help out, to see if I can get this. I have a couple questions for you, but I wanted to let you know I'm in here trying to save this deal. Now, what's that selling realtor think? And the third thing is, and this is something that maybe, you would need to get with Brad and Jamie on, is putting in a guarantee. Like a written guarantee. I'm going to teach you the trick at the end. The $10,000 closing guarantee, saying that we screwed up and this is our screw up, not the customer's. And I can give you examples of what this guarantee looks like. And the second thing is, if we're going to miss closing, I will pay the seller $125 per day. Now, the trick is you put it in the contract. So that means if your competitor tries to steal your deal, which we have this happening, yes, they would have to follow that guarantee in that contract, which many won't. You get a bank or a credit union, they won't follow it. They got to follow it because it's part of the legal binding contract. So I want you to just think of that. If you created a seller guarantee and you created a per diem, could you get more of your buyer's offer accepted because of your guarantee? And lastly, what does a 15-day guarantee close look like for you? That's what the realtors are wanting. I need a guarantee. I need teeth to get back to the seller. What the chances are that it's us that really made the mistake, or is it the borrower? The borrower didn't disclose it. The borrower quit the job. The borrower did something dumb. It's never really us. We're not paying on anything that's them. We're paying it only when it's on us. And if you're going to be late and it's not on us, we'll pay the seller a per diem. Like, this is happening and getting great results in every single market. But like, being creative, helping them with their prequals, helping them with their hard deals, being able to give this, and lastly, having, as you guys have a great company, of being able to talk about your success stories and then share them in your community so that you can share them. Because guess what? You know why you don't want to call a realtor? It's because you think you got commission breath. What if you had help breath? What if you were going to be a better server? What if you were going to try to serve and you were trying to help? I know my time's out, but I'm telling you guys, if you want to get ready for 2025, you got to concentrate on two areas. This third area, I'll give it to you whenever you want, don't have time today, is working VIPs. Number one referral source back to a realtor is working VIPs. And I'll be able to teach that on a different session. But I'm telling you, just start with these two. It'll change your business. Tommy, back to you.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you. All right. We have a quick little video, and then we'll bring up our next guest, Jesse Itzler.
Hi, my name is Sam Parker, CEO of My Credit Guide. I know it can be frustrating to deal with credit, especially if you're in the home loan process. You want things done and you want them done as quickly as possible. Here's how we're going to achieve that for you. What we'd like to do is start off with a free review. We're going to go through your credit report with you line by line and determine what you disagree with and why. Then we're going to go after those items to get anything that's inaccurate, outdated, or duplicated removed or updated to the correct status. Now, after that process, we're going to be left with items that have either been corrected or that have been legally verified. And at that point, a lot of credit repair companies just continue to dispute items over and over again, or the client gives up. Now what we will do is have some of our debt resolution specialists get on the phone with those collection companies and resolve these items once and for all. So we're not going to just do one thing and then be done. We're going to figure out what's on that credit report, what shouldn't be there. We're going to help you resolve items. We're going to help you open up positive trade lines if you need them and teach you how to use them, all while giving you a one-on-one relationship with a credit coach who is going to walk you through the process from start to finish and then get you back to your lender so that you and your family can proceed with hopefully buying a home. So if you have any questions, let us know. But more than anything, please take us up on our offer of a free review. We can't wait to help you get started.
I hope it carries over. Hi.
All right. Finally joining us is entrepreneur and best-selling author, endurance athlete, and just all-around powerhouse, Jesse Itzler. I've been following Jesse for a long time. Hit him up one day on Instagram and said, "Hey, if I buy a bunch of these calendars, is there any chance you can come, talk to my circle and help us figure out how to plan the best year ever?" So, one of our goals is just to empty the tank in trying to win at life, and Jesse is a prime example of that. So, Jesse, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come here and talk to everyone. I appreciate you.
Tommy, you're a perfect example of how just reaching out to somebody on social media in a DM can lead to a sale or business. Like, I didn't know you. I don't know you. We never met. You hit me with, you worded it really well. You sent a really well-written DM to me. And here we are. And it's funny. I'm wearing this shirt from my company. I got a DM. I believe in no lose. People talk about win-win situations. We'll get into what we want to talk about in a second, but just watching this and I just want to react to this real quick. Win-wins don't really work because usually two people win, but usually someone wins like this and someone else wins like this. That's it's not like balanced. I love no lose situations. And I remember getting a DM similar to yours for someone that said, "Hey, if you send me your logo for your company, I'm in the ad specialty business. I'll send you a bunch of hats, promo shirts, blah, 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 blah. If you like any of it, maybe I can make something for you." So there is no risk for me. I'm going to send the file with my logo, and this guy's going to light me up with free gear. Maybe I like it, maybe I don't. So I have 100 friends in the ad specialty business. This guy sent me this thing. I'm like, you know what? He got the entire account. He sent me incredible stuff. And I was like, I didn't know him. I have friends in the space, but this guy probably planted 1,000 seeds like he did to me, and he got my whole business. Maybe he got other people's businesses. And that's what you did. You reached out. And it's a really good lesson for people as we go into 2025, to be a little aggressive. Every year, we're going to have an incredible planning session, everybody, and I'm going to get into what I want to talk about in 1 second. But just because I was watching a little of this, I saw Chris's presentation, and Tom and Tommy, thank you guys for having me here. But at the beginning of every year, and this is a great time to have this call here in, the end as we go into the end of the fourth quarter, the beginning of 2025, because I'm going to show you guys how to make a plan to light up your 2025. I have 4 kids, a wife, businesses, but I have a really good game plan and system that I've been using for 30 years. I'm going to share it with everybody in just a minute. But at the beginning of every year, I usually pick a word that defines where I'm going directionally for the year. And I don't get it tattooed on me, but what does 2025 represent for me? Is it newness? Is it growth, spontaneity, change, adventure? Just taking a little inventory. And I've had the same word for 5 years. And that word, because I haven't found a better word. And that word soul, like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to pour my soul into it. You know, you asked me to come on here and talk to these guys and girls, the team, but I'm going to empty the tank and pour my soul into it. Hopefully give you guys a couple of nuggets that will, you know, really have an impact on 2025. But customers feel soul, and soul doesn't live on a spreadsheet. And, you know, you can't, it doesn't live on a balance sheet. You can't outsource it. It's just something that you operate with, and people feel it, man. And, you know, you're in a very competitive business, and passion and enthusiasm is a superpower. It's not a skill that you learn in college. You know, anyone can be better than the next guy or girl at it just by caring the most. And if you're not going to pour your soul into whatever it is you do, don't even waste your time, because the competition's too good. It's too good. So, you know, even something like this, a 30-minute talk, a presentation, a Q&A, I am going to empty everything that I have that can help you guys in 2025, because that's how I want to show up in my life, in everything, man, for my kids, for you guys, Tommy, for, you know, everything. If I'm not going to do that, like, why? Like, I should say no to you. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, and we're going to get into it. Before we get started, I'm Jesse Itzler. For those that don't know me, I'm in my home office. You can see behind me a bunch of pictures of rappers. I got my start in rap right after college. I was signed to a record label called Delicious Vinyl, and I did a show called Club MTV, hosted by Downtown Julie Brown. And when I got this opportunity, all the people on the record label, like, Jesse, it's about to happen for you, man. After this, the floodgates are going to go open. So I do the show, and sure enough, I get hired to do a concert in Pittsburgh. So I fly to Pittsburgh right after the show, and I get off the airplane, and there's a magazine rack. Like, you know, they have all the racks of all the magazines, like right at the first concession stand when I get off the plane. And there's a magazine called Rap Pages, which is like, Rap Pages to hip hop was like what Forbes is to like business, you know, big deal. I'm on the friggin' cover of Rap Pages, and I'm like, how did nobody tell me like that I would be on? Like, this is insane. So I buy all 30, like 15 of them. I buy all 15 magazines. I get online. I'm sending to my teachers, my parents, everyone's getting one. So I'm like, I can't even wait to check out. I start reading the article, and as I look at the cover with my picture over it in huge letters, it said, "Are white rappers ruining hip hop?" And I was on the cover of that. So this is like a little reminder of me, of my journey through entrepreneurship. I've had a very unconventional journey as an entrepreneur. I started out in music, didn't go great for me. I started doing jingles, songs for brands, anything to make money. I sold carrot and celery sticks door to door. It didn't work. I had a t-shirt company that failed. I had a music company failed, dropped from my record, all these things that failed. I slept on 18 couches between the ages of 18 and 22, trying to figure out how to make it as an entrepreneur. When I was 28 years old, I was a guest on a private plane and came up with an idea with my partner to start a private jet company. So with no aviation experience, no airplanes, no money, we started a company called Marquee Jet. We grew it to a company that went on to do over $5 billion in sales. We ultimately sold it to Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway's NetJets division. I had a coconut water company that I partnered up with called Zico Coconut Water that we sold. My partners and I sold to Coca-Cola. And a fitness company called 29 that my partner and I sold to iFit about 3 years ago. And I've had several companies that didn't work too. So I've had 5 really good exits and several failures. I've seen it all. I've bootstrapped it. I've raised money. I've been through a lot. And now I live in Atlanta. I have 4 kids. My wife is an entrepreneur. She had a company called Spanx, which she also sold. So we have a busy life. We have 4 kids, multiple businesses, feel overwhelmed at times, like everybody here, in scheduling and et cetera. And so over the last 3 decades, I've been a really aggressive planner, because how do you manage work-life balance? How do you manage children? How do you manage all the requests for your time that are coming in? And I put together a pretty good system that I've been using over the decades to really do what I call build my life resume. My work's always going to happen. Zoom calls always happen. I'm always going to sales meetings. I'm always thinking about work. But sometimes that impacts your life resume. And, like, what did you do last year? What did you have to show for 2024? What trips did you take? What races did you run? Did you learn anything new? Like, what skills did you learn? What'd you get certified in? Like, your life resume really matters. And we tend to neglect that as we build our work resume. So I thought today I would take some time and share a little bit of the system that I use to really plan an incredible year. And you guys can implement this all. You're going to learn this and master it. I think it's going to change your life in the next 20 minutes. And then I'll open it up for questions. And this is a battle-tested thing. I've been doing it for a long time with my wife. Before we do that, I want to talk about 2 or 3 things that I think have to happen before we even get into planning. The first thing that I think is really important to do right now, as we go into November and December, is to properly close out your year. Every business in America does a review at the end of the year. They go over their goals, what worked, what didn't work, where they wasted time, where they maximized time, etc. And I have a personal close out the year checklist that I do every year. And my goal is to get as light as I can be, just to feel like 24 is done. I'm going into 25 light and new. I don't even mean light like physically. I mean like just, so I have a system. So the first thing that I do is I like to clear out all my personal space. That might sound ridiculous, but I want a clean desk. When I show up January 1, 2024, I want all my papers filed. I want all of my emails deleted. I want to go to 0 on my inbox, or organize my emails in a way that everything's been responded to. I don't want the overflow into 2025. I want to hit it with momentum. So I clean out my desk. I clean out my emails. I unsubscribe to all the shit that I've been paying for 5 years that I don't listen. I clean my car. I make sure that my house is in order. I clear out my closet. I get light on my closet. Anything I haven't worn, if it's a jump ball, keep it or not. I just say to myself, you know what? Someone else needs this more than me. It goes in the donate bin. The end of the year, I'm donating half my closet because I don't wear half the stuff in my closet. I come in January 1, 2025. I'm light. Everything is clean and organized. My planner's ready for 2025. My filing system's ready. My emails are clean, and I'm ready to attack the year. I'm not bringing in baggage, or as little as I can, into 2025. I write thank you notes at the end of the year. When I was starting out in business, I had nothing. So one of my strategies with no money was to write handwritten letters. And I would write I was literally writing 10 a day when in my 20s. I would send 3,000 a year. That was my marketing strategy, because it cost a lick of a stamp on an envelope and people would get it. And so I still do that today, not as many. But at the end of every year, I write a bunch of thank you. If I was on a podcast, I thank them. Thank you. There's 8 billion people in the world, man. Tommy, you DM me to come talk. Thank you. Thank you. It's not Tommy writing me. I'm writing Tommy. Thank you notes. My customers, thank you so much for trusting me. Handwritten. My best suppliers, thanks for prioritizing me. Thanks for believing me. Thanks for having me here. Thank you for taking care of me at the hotel. And so next time I go back to the hotel, the manager lights me up. I am planting those seeds through handwritten letters. So in December, I tend to write anywhere from 25 to 50 handwritten letters as part of my close out the year process. So I highly encourage everybody here to get light right now. It feels amazing. Make amends. Clean out your stuff. Get ready for 2025 write your letters, unsubscribe, delete your emails, and come into the year light. The second thing that's really important now is to understand why it's so important to plan for 2025. For starters, as you get old, Tommy, it's really hard to create newness. Like, where does newness come from, man? You got to plan it. It's not going to like magically appear, and most of us live our life in routine. Maybe get up, work out, go to work, come home, dinner, kids, repeat. And at the end of the year, like, we don't have a lot to show for it. So like, my question to everybody here is like, what happened that was amazing in 2024? Like, take inventory on your year and get excited to make a plan that you're excited about in 2025. I think it's really important to prioritize you. The more things that you do, the more you experience, the more adventure you put on your calendar in 2025, the more interesting you are. The more interesting you are to your customers, the more interesting you are at the lunch table with everybody. Maybe it gets you a promotion. Like, I rode my bike across America last year, and every time I went in a meeting, everybody wanted to talk about it. And it became like, I'm a 900 on my SAT kind of guy. I'm back of the pack grades, but I'm an overachiever in adventure, and people want to talk about that. It's very interesting. Like, oh, I ran the you ran the marathon? Well, oh, it was tough. I lost a toenail. I did this. Tell me about it. Like, it becomes more interesting. So adventure is really important. I found that most of us play life on defense, meaning our calendars fill up with other people's requests for our time. Zoom calls, weddings, appointments, kids' sport. Like, we just get bombarded with inputs. We're putting it on our calendar, and it leaves us very little time of our free time to do what we want to do. So I have completely flipped that model upside down, and I am playing life aggressively on offense. And I do it in 3 ways. I'm going to teach you the system right now. If you guys do the 3 things that I'm going to share with you right now in 2025, and you see me in an airport at the end of the year, you will bear hug me. You will be like, I cannot believe how much my life has changed. And if you did everything the same in 2025 that you did in 2024 and just added these 3 things, you will see a significant change in all areas of your life. I'm telling you, I'm going to teach them to you right now. So these are the 3 things that I do. And then I'm going to show you how I fill out my calendar and how you guys can fill out your calendar. These are this is the benchmark of how I plan my years. And it's only 3 things, and it's life-changing. So if you do these 3 things, you'll change your life. So the first thing that I do is, there's an old Japanese ritual called the misogi. And the notion around a misogi is, you do one big year-defining thing every year. So like at the end of 2024, you go back to 2015, you should be able to say, I did in 2015, I wrote a book called Living with a Seal. 2017, I launched a company called 29029. 2023, I rode my bike across America. 2024, I did rim to rim to rim across the Grand Canyon. Like, every year, you should be able to look back and say, man, I have one big year-defining thing. So every year, I put one big thing on my calendar, despite how busy my work is, despite my kids are going, whatever, something for me that's year defining. Now that could be, I'm going to launch a podcast. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to run my first marathon. I don't know. But you want to have something that if Tommy said, hey man, what'd you do in 2024? Boom, big, you can answer it. The second thing I do is something I call Kevin's rule, named after my friend Kevin, who's a police officer, good friend of mine. Kevin and I were on a trip camping with our kids. They were 8 years old at Mount Washington in New Hampshire in the winter. We're sleeping overnight. It's -5 degrees. We're in a -30 sleeping bag, sleeping outside. It's snowing on our face, and there's no one around. I go, Kev, this is insane. There's 8 billion people in the world, and we're the only 4 people on the mountain. How often do you do stuff like this, man? Thanks for inviting me. He goes, oh, you won't believe this. He goes, ever since college, every other month on one day of the weekend, 1 or 2 days of the weekend, I do something I normally wouldn't have done. I go, what do you mean? He's like, instead of watching the Georgia football game, I'll take my kids fishing. I'll go to a lecture. I'll show up at a concert. I'll see my college friends. I'll do like a little mini adventure. I go, why? He goes, well, if you graduate college and every other month you just take a day out of 8 weeks, one day, and do something new, you'll have 6 mini adventures a year. If you're 30 years old and you live to 80 and you do a Kevin's rule thing, 6 mini adventures a year, you'll have 300 mini adventures at the end of the journey. You'll have 30 year-defining Misogis, 30 year-defining things, 300 mini adventures. That's an incredible life, man. That's an incredible story to tell. Yes, I have kids. Yes, I have work. No, money's not an excuse. The trip to Mount Washington cost $18 to park. $18. I go to local firemen polar plunge here. Coney Island polar plunge free. Like we live in a country that affords us the ability to do the most incredible things for an entry fee of a state park. There are no excuses. So every year I've been doing a year-defining thing and 6 mini adventures, and it's made me incredibly interesting to my customers, to my team, to my employees, to my family. The work always happens, but those things go on my calendar first. And then the third thing that I do every year is every quarter I add one winning habit, because we are all a product of a result. Our success is a result of winning habits, winning routines, and a winning mindset, period. You get your habits, your routines, and your mind right, it's over, man. Nobody stands a chance. So every quarter, I add one winning habit to my routine. That might be like, I'm never going to be late for a meeting. I don't drink enough water. I'm going to drink 100 ounces of water a day. I'm going to start a 10-minute a day meditation practice. I don't know. But every quarter, you do that. Now at the end of the year, you got a monster year-defining thing. You took 6 really cool adventures that, are getting you through the year, helping you get through the year. You're looking forward to these things. You're sharing them. You're training for them. There's something on your calendar that I can't wait for my trip to Finland in February with my friends. And you've added 4 winning habits. If you just did that and did everything else the same in 2025 that you did in 2024, your 2025 has to be better. People might get sick. You might have hardship. I mean, that's out of your control, but it has to be better. So I'm a really aggressive planner. And what I like to do, well, let me show you this. This is my entire 2025 laid out. This is my whole year on one big calendar. This is it. If I follow this script next year, which I'm going to do, my year is friggin' award-winning. My races are on here, color coordinated. My trips to Sun Valley. I trip to Finland with my friends that I just told you about. The Clearwater Marathon. Everything is on here. This is called a blueprint to success, because you can't wake up and just wing it. Time goes too fast. So I'm a really aggressive planner. So Tommy, everyone got one of these, right?
Yeah.
So let me show you guys this. So this is called the Big Ass Calendar. And it's really interesting. The weekends are shaded a different color than the weekdays, which are white. And you have all 365 days of the year on one single calendar, so you can visually see where your holes are. You can see where you're spending time and where you're not. You can track towards certain goals. You can lay out your whole family, which I've done here. On this calendar, I have first day of school, last day of school, camp days, vacation days, spring break. And what I do is when I get the calendar, anything this isn't work stuff. This isn't my Zoom stuff, my meetings. That's in my phone. I have that covered. I'm not worried about that. This is the stuff like my life stuff. the stuff that like I want to accomplish, the stuff I'm looking forward to, the stuff that I want to see visually, maybe some travel that's work related, but this is my life stuff. When my kids end school, when they start school, spring break, big present dance recitals that my kids have, my races, my adventures, my family trips, my date nights, my kids' sports games that I don't want to miss. As soon as I have it, I put it on my 2025 calendar, because now it gives me permission to say no to other people's requests for my time. And that is so damn important, that you prioritize yourself. That's not being selfish at all. I'm not selfish. I'm spontaneous too, but I have to have a plan. There's an old saying that wars are won in the general's tent, and they are. You want to have a great 2025, lay it out on paper. You want to have a great 2025, lay it out on paper. I'm so excited about my 2025 because I've taken the time with my wife to plan an amazing 2025. And, you know, now's the time to do it. It's to get ahead of the year, to invest a couple of hours, to take out this calendar, figure out, man, what could be a Misogi? What would be good times to fit a couple of little mini adventures in? You know, what do I already have coming up? Wow, I have an 8-week period where I have nothing. How do I want to fill that out? Are there any concerts I can go to? Do I want to go to any sporting events? Like, get in front of it, because if you don't, other people are going to jump in and fill in those boxes of your calendar for their requests. And that's not a good blueprint. So Tommy, that's what I do. I'm aggressive. And you know what this does? Because I have such a good, clear view of 2025 already. We're in November. My year is fully baked. I have room to add stuff and move stuff. It's fully baked. But what that does is it gets me excited about work. Because now I'm like, I can have both. I can have a crazy good work. And I'm going to work. I'm working every day anyway. This isn't just to replace work. But now on top of that, I built the other side up that I'm really excited about. And that helps me show up at work way better. It helps me show up at home way better. It helps me show up with my kids way better. I'm not guilty when I'm working late at night that I'm not with my kids or my wife, because I know I got them on the backside. And when I'm on the backside on my races and trips, I'm not guilty I'm not at work, because I've already laid it out. So it's like insanely liberating. Now, what's great about this calendar, and Tommy was nice enough to invest in everybody here with what I think is literally one of the most important things, the gift of planning. This is a whiteboard. So you can dry erase it. You can just wipe off. It just wipes off. I don't want to get my finger, and it also has sticky notes that you can use and write on and peel them and move them away. And they fit perfectly in the box. So this is my tool. My wife has one in her office. I have one here. And then I use it. Can I have that planner real quick? That I don't travel with that. That lives on my wall. And what I do is I also have a planner. What? It's fine. I have a planner, and then in the planner is a smaller version of this calendar. I'll show you guys real quick. It's the same exact thing. It's just smaller. And this is a big planner. And then I write it down here and I travel with this. So I have both, and that's my system. And I lay it out on the big calendar. I'm looking at it. I'm always saying, oh, there's a gap here. I'm tracking towards my goal. Like, wow, I can see what 60 days look like before I have to run this race. And I carry it with me in this desktop travel calendar called the Big Ass Planner. And that's my system. So I wanted to share it with you. I know we didn't have a ton of time, but I wanted to save some time for any questions, whether it's calendar related or business related, from you and your team. Tommy, I can't help you guys on loans, but I can definitely help you on planning and anything else you want to ask.
Well, first, I just want to thank you for taking your time again. I can't even explain how much I appreciate it. So thank you for that. I'm curious about the planner. Is that something that's new for this year?
I literally been working on it for 2 years. So I have, I've been using these desktop calendars like for a long. I'm a planning freak. No, I don't see how people could even do it without having a plan. Honestly, if you have kids, I just don't know how you could do it. And you can do it on a level but if you want to be ultra successful, I don't think you can do it without a plan. I really don't. At least I can't. So I've been using a desktop calendar for years, but I have to travel with it like this. So we invented a planner that is basically the same size, but it folds up. So I have the size, I'm visual of my month, but now I can fold it. And it has a whiteboard on the back page that you can do like your daily notes on. This is a dry erase board, and I can just wipe it off. So I do my daily to-dos, and then every day I just start clean. It's unbelievable. And
that's awesome. My wife's gonna love that.
Yeah.
So she's big notebook. Like I bought her a Remarkable a couple years ago, and she just could never take to using it. She loves still just pen and paper.
Brand new, and it evolved out of, like every other entrepreneur, necessity. The other planners, to me, the boxes were so small, I didn't have enough room to write in them. And I said, what do I want? If I was going to rip up the playbook, and this is another thing. It's like, you guys are all in mortgages and loans. And like, I always tell people that work with me, if no one taught you how to do your job, how would you do it? So if you ripped up the playbook that everybody in mortgage loans were doing, how would you market your product? How would you retain your customers? How would you talk to them? And I did the same thing with planners. Like if I was going to make a planner, I wouldn't make little boxes. I want big boxes so I can fill it in and be visual. I want to travel with it. I want a whiteboard so I can brainstorm. I just started thinking about everything that I wanted, and I made my own. And I'm obsessed with it. So this is they're shipping in 2 weeks. We've been working on it for a year. It's amazing.
It's awesome. That's awesome. I know my good friend Tom, he's here with us today. He had a couple questions as well.
Yeah, hey, Tom.
Thank you so much. Longtime fan, first time caller, really your books, everything. You talk about, in fact, I think your wife, Sarah, talks about this. As an entrepreneur, there's 2 ways to be successful. Invent something that's new or do something that's been done, but do it better. You think soul is the key to the second one?
Say that again, the last part?
I think soul is the key ingredient to the second one of doing something better than the rest of the market.
I think soul is a thread that it just should be in your DNA. I think look, anybody here can care the most. And I feel like the people that care the most in the long term, it takes your odds. It doesn't mean you're always going to win, but it increases the odds and the chances of success so significantly just by caring. But making something better is a function of frustration. Why does, and innovation. I think soul's a thread throughout everything. But I think, as entrepreneurs, we look at things like, man, I can make this better than it was. You know what I mean? This isn't new. Planners have been around for hundreds of years, literally. But I think this is the best one on the market. So it's just a function of what would you do differently? Don't be scared to rip up the playbook and ask yourself that question. Like, maybe your business card should look better. Maybe your name could be bolder. Maybe your packaging could be different. Maybe you talk to your customers differently than everybody else. I had a financial advisor, 50 financial advisors have come to us, Tom, and asked for our business. And it's the same thing with a different logo on the brochure. It's the same pitch, different logo. Finally, a guy comes in, he's like, let me ask you a question. If you could leave your kids a boatload of money or a boatload of life experiences, what would you rather do? And I think I could help you in either. I was like, you're my guy. Talk to me more about that. And then he gave me this whole plan of experiences. And I was like, he just did it different. It was that simple. So that's what I'm encouraging people to do. Tommy did it. He did it to me today. He hit me on a DM. And here, I don't give an hour. I have kids. I don't have an hour to give people. But I just like the way he came at me.
That's awesome. Do you have, I'm curious, I know the way that you look at business in different things is so unique compared to a lot of other people. What do you have anything new that you're kind of working on? Like I've heard about pickles and I've heard about some other things. So do you have any projects that you're excited about?
Yeah. The reason why I think I look at things differently is because I have no business. I had no business training. My dad owned the plumbing supply house. We didn't talk about business. So it made me look at things like in a very intuitive way. You know what I mean? Not in a trained Harvard way, in a very intuitive way. And I think that's not having that experience has been the best blessing for me, Tommy, because it guaranteed everything I did would be different than my competitors because no one taught me how to do it. So that was, I think, a really big gift. I always have ideas brewing. And at this stage in my life, I'm approaching 60, man. I'm 56, turning 57 this year. For me, it's more about less aggravation than reward. In my younger years, I wanted the reward more than I was willing to have high aggravation if it gave me reward. Now I want really low aggravation for any kind of reward. So I'm just doing things that I'm passionate about, like the calendar. I have insane passion about it. I've been using calendars for so long, planners for so long. But I'm always thinking about stuff. I have a new event we have called Running Man, which is a health and wellness running festival. It's like we built the world's biggest sauna. We do it in September in Rome, Georgia. I have so much passion for that. It's the funnest weekend of my life. If anybody wants to put a Kevin's Rule trip for a couple $100 on your calendar, it's Running Man. But yeah, so I'm looking for things that I like to do.
It's awesome. Tom and I are looking at doing the 29 to 29 at Snow Basin this year. So he's an amputee. Do you have any advice for tackling that?
Well, for both of you guys, Tom, we've had amputees do it. My phone, Mona Patel did the first 29-0-29. It's for those that don't know, 29-0-29 is an event that a company that my partner and I have. We rent mountains all over the country. You hike up the mountain, take the gondola down, and you repeat that until you climb the equivalent of Mount Everest, 29,029 feet. You have 36 hours to do it. It is friggin' hard, but doable. And if you have the opportunity to do it, it's truly a life. I don't say this lightly when I say life-changing, but it's life-changing because you'll learn so much about yourself. I always say to people that do 29-0-29 when they're done, go back and double your business plan. Whatever you thought you could do, look what you just did, and now go double your business plan. So if you guys do it, I hope you have the same outcome that I had.
Jesse, would you talk about the Big Ass Planner is amazing, but you're a daily routine guy, right? Like that's something that you like fruit before noon. Like, your book with David, Goggins is amazing. It's something that I listened to multiple times. But you're a daily routine guy. Like every day you're doing things daily. How does that help you in the big picture? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, you are a product of winning habits and winning routines. My routine starts the night before, where I write down my. People talk about morning routines, but I'm a bigger believer in evening routines. Like I have a big plan. I have my day laid out the night before, which is really important. I don't wake up and wing it. I know 2:00 I got this call, 3:00 I'm going to this meeting, 4:00 I'm getting my kids, 5:00 it gets laid out. So that's really important to me. I try to create early momentum by creating early morning wins. So I try to knock my workouts out early because even if everything else goes to the crapper throughout the day, at least I can check that box and I got me covered. Plus, I want to do things. I don't want to resent my wife or my boss for taking away things that I love. I love to work out and train. So if I do it late, but then I got to go to dinner with my wife, I'm mad that I didn't get my workout and I don't want any resentment. So I'm trying to do the things that I want to do. And then I'm happy to go to dinner. I'm happy to do the other stuff. And then I try to tackle the most important things, the things that move the needle first.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think we've taken up enough of your time, and I genuinely appreciate you, and thank you so much. So
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and I wish everybody a really, you know, I'll just close it with this, Tommy. Um, I don't have it all figured out. This is just what's worked for me. You know, I've tried it over 56 years on Earth. I've tried so many different things, and I've landed in a place that's the best system for me. Planning aggressively, you know, writing out the script, following the script, having good routines, starting my, you know, planning my day the day. So we use the word plan, planning the night before, planning the year, planning my races. Like that has helped me build an incredible, an undeniable life resume. It's undeniable. It didn't just happen. It happened because I am consistent with having many adventures and a really big thing. And then you become 53, you've been doing it since you're 21, you know what I mean? 31, 40, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, look at these 180 things that I've done. Look at these 20, 30 things that are monster things that I've done. And that's, I think, the reason. And, you know, I have 4 kids. And you know what I'm going to tell them when they get older? Have great routines, have great habits, and have a great plan, and just execute it. So that's my 2 cents as we go into close out the year now, build a plan, and give me a bear hug when you see me in December 2025.
100%.
Good luck, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for showing up and participating today.
All right, see you guys.